Hey guys, I'm Dr. Taylor Burrowes, retired therapist and expert vetting and relationship coach. Today I'm going to be sharing with you 3 relationship lies that we're told and that unfortunately people adopt. But I'm going to challenge those for you today. We're going to talk about 3 of them, and then there's lots more that we can talk about later on. So I hope you stick around, and welcome to my channel, The Sweet Spot. Lie number 1. We're led to believe that love is supposed to be an intense and intoxicating feeling. That's like where you hear love at first sight. That's not love. That is lust at first sight. So that's infatuation. And this typically happens in the beginning when you meet someone, your eyes just get really big, you have a strong spark, chemistry, physical attraction, and you get really excited, and this sort of begins to unfold as the honeymoon stage when you're getting to know someone you really like. But let's not confuse that with love. There's a few different stages and reactions that our body goes through physiologically that's outside of our control, which we call involuntary responses. And it includes direct results of the hormones and neurotransmitters that are firing during this period of time. This includes oxytocin, serotonin, dopamine, endorphins, something called norepinephrine. And these are real. They have real impact. So the stages usually go lust, which causes testosterone and estrogen to be released. And then there's going to be attraction, which has dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins released. And then we're going to move towards the attachment level, where it becomes more or develops more into love. So that attachment is about oxytocin and vasopressin. Those are the hormones that are involved in bonding us to each other. We have both, but men predominantly focus on the vasopressin releases, whereas women focus on the oxytocin releases. That's just how we're different as men and women generally, but we do have both. So if you understand, this is like a whole developmental cycle, and it's a natural progression that we go through. We want to have all 3. So you have to have that fire, you have to have that desire, you have to have the attachment, and you have to have that attraction. So all 3 components are extremely important. But keep in mind that you don't want to prematurely commit or invest in someone based on those beginning stages where you're still developing an objective understanding of your compatibility. Because those hormones, right, serotonin is going to make you feel really good and generally happy. It gives you that willpower. It comes with a sense of safety. So you're going to see that develop as attraction develops into attachment. And the dopamine is really just about pleasure, right? So that's going to be firing off and clouding your judgment every time you're in contact with the person or you see a message from them on your phone. So that excitement is really just a reward system that's happening between you and them, and it's not really about them as a person or your compatibility. So you want to be very careful with that one. So make sure that you let that period pass, which is going to be about 6 months' time, if you have constant contact with them and interaction with them. And then after that time, these hormones are going to calm down. At that point, you can really clarify what your compatibility is. And so these feelings of love are going to take root. They're going to be grounded in demonstrations of consistency and reliability and trust and respect. So you have to make sure that those elements exist before you invest further in the relationship. And definitely don't feel pressure to say I love you very early on, because you might be really excited, you might feel really good with someone, but true love is something that is deeper and more consistent and reliable than those early feelings that you're gonna have. So love itself is not an intense and intoxicating feeling. That's the lust, the infatuation, and the attraction talking. Love, as opposed to lust, is going to feel more safe and consistent. That's the benchmark of what true love is. It's creating that secure attachment between you and another person where you feel like yourself. You feel at ease. You feel like you can let down your guard. But if you're used to that up and down, those big spikes in emotion that come with the lust and the infatuation, and oftentimes the toxic types of love that are revealed in insecure attachments, if you're used to that very dysregulated type of attachment, then healthy love is actually going to feel very uncomfortable and unfamiliar to you. When you create that safety in your relationship, it's going to allow you the freedom and the flexibility to truly be yourself. So you're able to be honest, you're able to be present, you can drop all of those stories and personas that you project in order to present or perform a certain way. And when you're able to feel accepted and have that reciprocity between the two of you, you really start to develop and build something exceptionally special. Eventually, you'll be confronted with the opportunity to fully surrender to this bond that you've built. That attachment becomes a deep level of commitment. So true love is an awareness of this commitment and an acceptance of it, a peace that comes with it. Line number 2, we're led to believe that we're supposed to meet all of our partner's needs, but this is not true. There are basic human needs that we all need to meet, and various people have identified what these basic human needs are. It started with Freud, and then Maslow, and now Tony Robbins. So I'm gonna put his 6 core needs here. He identifies certainty and uncertainty or variety, significance, love and connection, growth, and contribution. So it's important to see how we meet all of those needs in our own lives, and then how we are enlisting our partner and helping us meet those needs through the relationship and vice versa. Knowing what these needs are, it's important to take an inventory and recognize what we're doing to contribute to meeting those needs and if there are any unmet needs. And you can expand on these needs and get more specific. I'll put a link in the description of another resource I have liked to use with clients. But ultimately, your partner should be enlisted in helping you to meet those needs, not interfering with you meeting those needs, and same in reverse. The blessing and beauty of being in a relationship is that we're a team and we have this wonderful support system right at our fingertips that helps to make it easier for us to meet our own needs. You cannot have a partner who denies your needs and makes it very difficult for you to meet your needs. You don't want a partner who is actively dysregulating your system. Now, inevitably in a relationship, you're going to set each other off. There's going to be some buttons that are pushed. Your shadow stuff is going to come to the surface as your partner is your mirror. Fundamentally, that needs to be controlled for as much as possible. You want someone who is going to augment your life and not increase the stress. You want them to make your life more content, more stable, and more regulated. So as long as they have what it takes in order to do that for themselves, and then you are able to take responsibility for your own needs, then you can clarify what are the needs in this relationship. So the relationship in itself is going to have needs. I talk about the 8 intimacies, which is another way of saying the 8 needs that each person has. And when you go through the list of that, I can link the video for that here too. But when you go through that list of 8 intimacies or 8 needs as an individual, you're going to identify which ones need to be met by your partner. So off the top of my head, sexual intimacy has to be met by your partner. Emotional intimacy, it can be met by other people too, but you're also going to need that emotional intimacy and the affection from your partner. Now, the physical element is more like practical things that need to get done. I mean, your partner is there for a reason and you're working together to collaborate in building this life. So if you were to ask, somebody else, like a neighbor, to do things that would otherwise be done by your partner, that would be strange. So that also needs to be done by your partner. So a lot of these elements, they are your partner and you working together to meet the needs that the relationship has in order to maintain health and stability and satisfaction. So I want you to see it that way instead, because you're not meant to be doing the work for your partner. They need to be taking care of their own needs and communicating how they want you to collaborate and contribute to supporting them meeting their needs and vice versa. So instead of colluding with the lie that you're supposed to meet all of your partner's needs, I want you to understand that you have to take care of your own needs, support your partner meeting their needs, and identify the needs of the relationship and work on those together. Line number 3, they've convinced us that we're looking for the one to complete us, our soulmate. Now, you might use those words endearingly and not really mean what I'm trying to explain, and so I get that, that's fine. But generally when people talk about that whole concept of the Jerry Maguire, finding the one who completes you and finding the soulmate that, you know, was meant for you, that takes our free will and choice away. And that can be dangerous. Yeah, it's true. There's not that many people out there who are going to be well suited to you, who are going to be compatible and create the kind of partnership that will stand the test of time. I would say, you know, maybe 100, tops 1,000 people out there in the world that you could potentially make it work with. And so you have to take every opportunity that you have when you're in a relationship to make it work. You don't want to take it for granted, like there's just an infinite number of people that you could have that with. You can't. But there is going to be more than one, and they're not going to complete you in that way. You're going to be two complete individuals. And when you come together, you create a bigger, better whole. But you are able to live a life that is satisfactory on your own, even if you long for that partnership, that family system. I get it, but make sure that you can stand on your own 2 feet. And so when you see it that way, that person becomes the one that you settle down with, the one that you commit to, the one that you marry. But they're not the only one out there that you could do that with. And so making sure that you know that you empower yourself with the discernment in order to see your role in picking that person, and that it's not just something handed to you from the universe that falls in your lap easily, that you should recognize immediately based on probably all that love at first sight stuff. It is someone who you slowly over time build that deep commitment with based on this compatibility, complementarity, that connection that you have that allows you to see the potential that you have together. Now, a lot of people will talk about like making it work with someone who's good enough and not perfect, but that's also dangerous because you don't want to be in a relationship that it has a significant deficit in that connection. There are things that are indescribable that can be missing from a connection, and it will nag at you. Like they might be a good person, they may be good company, there may not be anything wrong with them, but there's just something fundamental missing from your connection and you can't quite articulate it. You have to be honest about that. Don't just marry someone because they sort of have the bare minimum of what you need or what you're looking for. You have to be enthusiastic about them. There has to be that genuine desire and yeah, just someone who you're going to be excited to spend the rest of your life with. So that feeling, that connection, that chemistry, that spark, that click, I really see that click as something that is just, it puts your mind at ease. It erases the doubt from your mind. You're not looking around for someone else, that the grass being greener. Now, of course, you have to maintain that because over the course of a lifetime, you can get complacent and you can take each other for granted, but you don't have to if you maintain the health of your relationship properly. But I just want to encourage you that you don't want to settle for less in that way, that just because you want to be responsible doesn't mean go the whole other way. So you don't want to be a hopeless romantic, but you also don't want to be this jaded sort of complacent person that accepts less than what you need in order to create that fulfilling life together. In summary, these are the 3 relationship lies that we're often told. Number 1, love is an intense and intoxicating feeling. Number 2, we're meant to meet all of our partner's needs. Number 3, we're looking for the one, our soulmate out there. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this conversation today. And if this was something that was helpful for you, I want you to comment below. Let me know if you're interested in more of these because I made a post on Instagram of 13 of them. And so this is just scratching the surface, the first 3. If you want more videos, I'd love to have you stick around, share it with friends, spread the word, like this video, but don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Really important. See you next time. Ciao.